Welcome to the Founders Chat. The guest of today is Lucia Lehmann, founder and CEO of Tulip. Welcome, Lucia.
Thanks, Alan, I'm very happy to be here with you today.
The pleasure is mine. So, can you tell us about Tulip?
Okay, so basically, Tulip is the company I wish I had years ago. We help businesses grow in a smarter and more structured way, combining sales strategy, AI adoption, technology, and of course, very clear processes. So it's not just consulting, it's building a system that actually helps customers to scale.
Okay, so you're acting kind of as the technical partner of those companies?
So it's a combination of sales and technology. So
Okay.
we help them to grow to new markets, new regions where they don't have presence based in technology so that they can gain scalability and agility that we need today.
Yeah, amazing. And what is the profile of your customers of these companies?
Okay, so mainly B2B companies that wants to grow and they don't have the knowledge of those new markets, or even maybe the team, the team they need to grow to those markets. So that's where we start working with them.
Okay, great. I have so many questions, but maybe let's
Okay.
start. Why did you start this? Like, did you come from the corporate world and you were close to this industry? So maybe can you tell us about the story?
Yeah, sure. I was a very corporate person. I have worked 18 years in multinational tech companies like Microsoft, Hewlett Packard, EMC, Dell Technologies, always in sales from different as SDR, VDR, as an account manager, leading SMBs or strategic accounts. And in my last years, I had the opportunity to lead regional teams. So in that position where we have to grow in the mid-market segment where the company didn't have the knowledge or the team to go, we understood at that day that we had to do the sales. It needed to be done in a different way. The traditional sales model wasn't the right one because, for example, here in Spain, we have 24,000 of companies in the mid market. This traditional way of doing things like knocking the door and developing one account in deeply, it was not the right way to do it with 24,000 accounts. So we needed, for sure, we needed to do things different, to include AI, automation, and different digital tools in order to be more scalable, in order to have this presence all along the mid market or the different segments. And this applies to new markets where we don't have the presence or neither the team to do it. So that's when we understand that there was a real need for companies to do things different and adopt technology in a faster way that they can do it. So that's why we help them to do it in a more faster way, in a more strategic way.
Nice. So if I didn't get this wrong, you're targeting companies that like mid-sized companies, and the average accounts they manage are 24,000, more or less.
Yeah, we work with all B2B companies from mid-market companies to strategic companies that want to enter new markets. So if these companies don't know this new market or it's a large market to go, well, there's where we can help.
Okay, that's pretty nice. And how was your personal experience from being in corporate, kind of in the comfort zone or safety net to start your business? How was this transition?
Okay, so leaving the corporate wasn't easy for me because I have to give up stability. My husband is also an entrepreneur. He has his own startups. So it was a family decision. At that time, we had moved from Argentina to Spain, and my stability was the thing that can assure us the possibility to qualify for a mortgage, for example. And if we decide to go to this uncertainty, the both of us, it was like something that we had to postpone. So yeah, sure, it was not easy. It was a family decision. We have to leave this security or comfort zone for uncertainty, but it was for sure something that that I needed. So we were sure that we could do it. Also, I always say that although I worked in companies, in big tech companies, I have always been an entrepreneur in those companies. In each role that I have the opportunity to develop new segments, launch new products, develop new markets, or build a new team to do something different as the one that I told you before. So I have already done this of building things from scratch through all my
Yeah.
career. So I have this experience and I thought, okay, I can use this experience to do it for my own. I have this, yeah, this was something that helped me to have this strength to go for it.
Yeah, this is something that when we have it inside us, then even if
Yeah.
we go to a company, you always find new things to do.
Yeah. I always loved doing new things, no? The challenge. I am always seeking for new challenges also in my personal life, in my of course in my professional life. So yeah, it's something I have inside me.
Okay, so usually when we think about the business, the idea, and then when you start over time, there are some pivots or you
Yeah,
change
sure.
ways of doing things. So in Tulip, in your
Yeah.
case, were there any pivots?
Yeah, yeah. Well, of course, the first was building the company, but I think we have constantly new pivots. But one of the main ones that we have is we, with my partner Valeria, we really want to take Tulip to a next level to build a strong company in the future. We are doing it right now, but when we think 5 years from now, we think of a holding with different companies. So we needed to make the decision to leave aside some business units that were performing well, that we were doing it right, but they were not the exact business unit to take us to the next level. So it was okay, do we stay in this comfort zone where we are doing it well? We have our rentability, revenue, I assured, but no, it's not what we need to go for the next level. So it was, of course, a conversation that we have, and that I am very glad to have her because our relationship, of course, is built in trust, in a very open communication channel. So we were both aligned in our goal. So we said, okay, no, we need to do things different, and we have to pivot to those new ways of doing
Okay.
things, of these new business units.
So yeah, that's very interesting. I don't know why I thought you were a solo founder. So you have a co-founder, and how do you split the responsibilities?
That it was quite easy because we are different. Yeah, we have different backgrounds, different experiences. She came from multinationals of consumer of final consumer, of consuming, so like L'Oreal, I don't know, Selecta, and she have always worked in the financial areas and operation areas. And I come from sales and strategic, so we complement each other with our views. So that's why we decided to join together and create to live together, because we have different visions that align and complement, but we had the same goal. First, we were friends. So that was another pivot, another difficult decision if we
Yeah,
wanted to like put this friendship in risk,
yeah,
but we knew that it was that worth it. So,
yeah. It's a big risk. If it works, the reward is huge
yeah,
because working
now
with a
we are
friend is
friends and
amazing.
partners. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's great. I've worked with friends in the past, and 80% of the time was okay, but there was one this time that it didn't
Yeah,
go well.
yeah. So we designed a contract together. We write the things that we didn't want to happen or the things that wanted to happen, and we created scenarios. And the first conversations, of course, they were difficult, but as I mentioned, they worth it. So we are
Yeah,
very happy now.
so happy for you.
Yeah.
All right, so you shared a lot with us your long track record in corporate, but is there something from your early story that most people don't know?
Yeah, maybe that my movement from Argentina to Spain, it was difficult because there I have my corporate career, I have my network of 18 years of visibility. I have been doing things like easily, and when I moved here, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for me to. I didn't have. I have to start from scratch. Also, I have to start building my own network to make myself more visible to the market. So it was a real hard work. I joined women associations, entrepreneurs associations
Yeah,
also, so as to start building all this. Fortunately, that was the part that made me decide that I wanted to do something from my own and not continue in the
yeah,
corporate area. So
that's
it was
amazing.
difficult, but it was very, very helpful for me.
Yeah. But yeah, most people don't understand when you go to a complete different country, starting from scratch, building the networks, it's a big deal. Because I've done this a few times and it's hard, Like when I moved even from Spain to Ireland, here, you don't know anybody, so it's starting over.
Yeah, we talk always with our friends or with my husband that it's a real it's part of the job, like generating. I made a strategy on how to build my network.
Yes.
Do you
But
know?
I think it's hard, but it can be super good at the same time because when your network is the network you have been building since you were a kid. In my case, I didn't plan, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. I
It's
understand what you're
like
saying. Yeah.
now because I have much more experience and I need to meet people, I about where do I want to meet these people? Which people
Yeah,
do I want to meet? So in the first place, you don't think about that.
totally. Yeah, you have some connections from my past are the ones that I met, not that the one that I decided I wanted for me. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. So I did this strategy. So which connections, which network did I want to build for my new future for Tulip?
Yes.
Thinking about Tulip, it's not the ones that I met occasionally. No, no. I wanted to
Exactly.
generate these strategic relationships. So,
Yeah.
yes. And what I have found here in Europe, because of course, coming to Spain gave me the possibility to open to all Europe, not just Spain. It was a very, very interesting community,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. So when I go to these meetings or events. We have been in Lisbon 2 weeks ago in Web Summit or South Summit here or the Mobile World Connect. So those are spaces where I found like these where we can see tendencies, where we can meet people that are doing amazing things, and those things
Yeah.
give me strength and they inspire me to, and they make me feel more passionate about what I am doing. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, in Europe, there is this European identity. Even
Yeah.
if you meet an entrepreneur from the UK, France, Germany, like we all have like similar values. This is super interesting. I think this entrepreneur identity is there kind of globally now, but in Argentina, I think we are so far away that it's really hard to travel and meet people from other places.
Yeah, yeah. We don't have to take that for granted. No, there are places that is more difficult to have these spaces. So I value a lot to have this opportunity. So I use it and take advantage of that.
All right, cool. So now let's jump a little bit to the day to day. So
Okay.
what do you do in a regular day?
Okay. What I don't do, entrepreneurs, we must do everything, no, of course. But we have some things that are our rituals in the week that they are a must. And we started on Monday with our forecast meeting. That is something that we don't miss for anything in the world. So that is our first meeting of the week, forecast meeting. So where we analyze if we are doing it okay, if we have a gap from we forecasted or we are doing it right. So that meeting is our first ritual. Then where we analyze the projects that we are that we are having. So we understand with our PM if everything is going okay, if we what we must do this week. And so we settle our priorities for the week. And then, of course, my first duty is to generate calls, meetings with new customers, of course, generate our pipeline, but also the check in meetings with our actual customers. So we analyze how we are doing it, what are the changes we need to do in order to perform better, to gain those goals, those sales goals that we settled. And of course, well, our internal meetings with the sales teams, the marketing team, and operation teams in order to see if everything is going okay. So my weeks goes jumping from one side to another. And do you know that when we change hats,
Yeah,
it's easy to lose efficiency. So that is my main goal. How can I do it not to lose this efficiency when changing from one hat
yeah.
to the other?
But I see that you're still wearing the sales hat, which is amazing.
Yeah, I love it. But that is my passion. I can't avoid it.
All right. So this is about work. You started with the forecast meeting, but more at the personal level, do you have a routine? Like, do you have some personal rituals? Like, for me, for example, it's like I need to move when I wake up, like go for a
Okay.
run, go to the gym, do something. Otherwise,
Okay.
I can't focus.
Okay. So, well, I have three kids, so I start my morning taking them to school. We go walking. That is something that I like. Although it's raining, we have snow, we do it walking. But then I love doing exercise, but because it's the moment that I have more creativity. So I do field hockey and I run and I play tennis. So yeah, sports is something that I need to do like not each day, but 4 times a week for sure. And we share that with my partner also with Valeria. So we also do
That's
things together that yeah, we ran a half marathon together. It was a great moment for us because it was like an example of what to live was at that moment. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Sports and doing things so as to maintain my creativity and of course like generate energy.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think it's super important to share outside work activities with the co-founder
Yeah.
and doing sports. I think I've spoken now in this podcast with more than 13 founders or 14, and they
And
all have like
okay,
sports in their routines.
look.
I have the feeling that this is one of the things that keep us sane. Uh, with
Yeah, if I don't do sport, if my family says, okay, go and do something, because if not, I like lock down.
yeah, yeah. Nice. So, what about using AI? Because you are implementing AI for other companies, but
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
workflows, do you have automations? How do you use AI?
Yeah, we integrate different digital tools and we use the proprietary AI from those tools and also, of course, other AI tools. We are a small team right now. We want to grow. So if we want to do it, we need to expand our hands, our arms. So AI and digital tools and automation is really, really necessary for us, and we are using it in each part. What we did and what we do with our customers also is we understand, we analyze all our processes, not just the sales process, but also, I don't know, the processes that we have in our financial area, in legal, etc. So we understand our processes and which are the spaces where we can improve. So once we understand that part that we can improve, that's when we analyze what is in the market from in the AI perspective, so as to see if we can integrate it. So this is something important, and we always are talking this with our customers. Don't use AI just because it's a hype. Really try to understand the areas where you can improve, because if you use AI, you're going to potentiate everything, the good things and the things that are not being done good. So we try to do it that way with Tulip also.
Yeah, and do you think because now there are a lot of companies, actually these AI native companies, that they are able to grow a lot without hiring a lot of people because there are a lot of different processes that can be automated with AI.
Mhm.
So now that you are planning your expansion, do you think you will be able to grow without the need of hiring a lot of people?
Without hiring a lot of people, maybe, but without people, no. I can give you the example with what we do at Tulip. So when we create a sales growth strategy and when we do the go to market, we do it with automation, AI tools, and other digital tools, but we need someone leading that process, that project, analyzing, because of course there are things that AI aren't is not able to do right now. So we need that human perspective. If someone asks us to do it without a person, it's not going to end well. So we always
Yeah.
say to our customers, we need someone or from your side, or maybe we can do it with someone from Tulip, but we need a person leading and reviewing each part of the step, understanding the information that we are having from the automation and AI, and defining things. That is
Yeah.
the thing that technology isn't able to do right now, is to make decisions from the information and the metrics we have. So that part needs to be done by a human.
Yeah, and for what you're describing, this person, it's going to be a good communicator because he's going to be dealing with
Yeah,
the customer.
he or she is the buffer. He or she receives information from AI, is the person who is talking with Tulip, with our customer, watching the insights that we gain from the market. So
Yeah.
it's a very important part of all the process.
This is a conversation I've been having a lot recently, and it's that communication is going to be the number one skill of the future
Yes, yes.
because
Understanding.
it can't be
Yeah.
replaced by AI. Empathy, everything that it's required to be a good communicator, it's going to be mandatory.
Yeah, sure. This communication from to the outside, but also internally,
Yeah,
understanding the culture, the things from inside, and also what we gain from technology. Yeah, the
yeah,
information and the metrics we have, how to read those
yeah,
uh, that information. How we communicate that information. It's key.
yeah, yeah. We agree on that. All right. So, is there a trend that you think everybody's underestimating?
I think the one that I mentioned before, the thing of not just implementing technology because it's a hype, the thing of understanding, doing this inside work about how are we structured, are our processes defined, understanding where is the gap that we have, and then defining and selecting the right technology to improve that gap. That is something that I see when we talk with customers. No, we want to AI agents, but for what? So this trend of adopting AI just because it's a hype, I think we are underestimating it, because if not, we are going to have a big issue in the
Yeah,
future. We are going to have inefficiency in how we spend our investments, and
yeah,
also in our business model. And that is something that so we have to work right now, not just in adopting technology, but also understanding, our own scenario and where to improve it.
yeah. I fully agree. This is something that we engineers ask a lot because people sometimes come with a solution. They come and they tell you, I want AI to automate this flow.
Yeah.
And our question usually is, what is your problem? What do you want to solve? And let me help you find the solution because it might be AI or it might be something different.
Yeah, most of the time it's not just AI. Maybe it's something more simple.
Yeah,
So no, you might know. Yeah, yeah, sure, for sure.
cool. So, how, this is a deep question. How do you
Okay,
define success in life, not just
in
business?
life. So when I started working as sales, I didn't know why I did it, because it was not my main goal to generate revenue. I was like not aligned with that goal. But then with the years, I certified as a ontological coach. That is to help people to reach their best version. Well, that's my main goal in life. It's like help me and others to reach the best version of themselves. And also that's what I want with our customers, reach their goal, reach the best version of their companies. So if I work with a customer and they reach that goal and they enjoy the path mostly, well, that's for me, it's success.
Okay, amazing. Making others succeed,
Grow
grow. Yeah,
and enjoy the growth.
super important. Cool. And what if you can give an advice to your 22 years old self?
Okay. Okay. I will say to be patient, that the dots at last they can be connected. Yeah. That it's not just about only the passion and the hard work, but also is consistency, is to having this goal defined and looking forward for it. Yeah. That consistency more than intensity. Yeah. Because sometimes I thought, okay, but I am doing everything I can. Yeah, but you have to do it in a consistent way. Look, the I have the example of Nadal that he always talks about consistency, not the ability, but the consistency, and that makes you reach the goal that you have.
Yeah, this is interesting, but yeah, this is something that I learned as well over the years because you see people, right? Sometimes the most skilled ones,
Yeah,
they are not the ones that achieve great success. They are the ones that never stop.
yeah,
So
I agree with that. I learned that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and sometimes yeah, for me it's like I learned this the hard
in the
way,
hard way.
as
Yes, oh, for
everything,
sure.
you know.
Yes,
But okay.
yes, totally.
So have you heard this? Like, not very smart people never learn anything. Average people learn from experiences, and smart people learn from other people's experiences. So I always find myself, I try to learn from others, but reality sometimes is like you need to make the mistake. Otherwise, it doesn't, the lesson doesn't stay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I've also learned it in the hard way.
Yeah. At least we
um,
learn.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Now, the important thing is that we grow, maintain our inspiration, we continue doing things. We fall, but we get up
Yeah.
and continue doing things. So that's that's what I and if I enjoy it, okay, I am happy with my decisions and it's
Yeah.
what I needed to get.
So now that you mentioned this, do you have any techniques to keep motivation up?
Yeah, I found out that I need the energy from others. So I need to be constantly meeting new people, new having these conversations with others like this one. I love this because I like your energy gives me energy and if you inspire me then I'm going to be more motivated. So for me meetings, events, all those kind of scenarios where I can take that energy and be more inspired, it's super important.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, there are different definitions of what is an introvert and what is an extrovert. And the one I like the most is when you are with people and this gives you more energy, you're an extrovert. And if
Okay.
you get more energy from being alone, then you're an introvert. And
Okay.
this is really interesting because in groups of friends, you have always this person that they
Yeah.
don't speak a lot, but they are always there. So they are extroverts because they get the energy even if they don't like speaking a lot. So this is a good one.
Totally. I am not always the one speaking. No, no, no. I am, as you mentioned, sometimes I'm like I'm there, but just listening and enjoying to be there.
That's amazing. I am like that as well. Like
Okay.
now I'm in a transition, so I'm at home most days, and I need to do these calls. Otherwise,
Yeah, sure.
I have less and less
That's
energy.
why when you contacted me, I said yes for sure. I need this kind of things.
Nice. All right. So now, if you can start if you need to start again to leap, what is the one thing that you wish you knew before you started?
That we don't need to have all the answers. I think that was a good lesson that I learned. So that uncertainty, it's okay. You have to go through all the path. And as you mentioned before, we need to fall down and to learn by by the hard way, because that's what makes us stronger. So just enjoy.
Yeah. Some of the advice that I like to give is when you're planning on starting a business, it's really good to plan, but don't take too many assumptions. Probably plan the first month and then you will see, because most likely you are going to pivot. Even if it's like small pivot, you're most likely to do it. So if you plan all the numbers and everything super precise, it's useless. It's better to just start as soon as possible. So
Do you
we
know,
agree.
some years ago, I was in a training where a guy said, okay, assume, and he wrote assume. It's making an ass of you and me. So it's not just when you think about your business, but also when you're talking, when you are talking with a new customer and you are trying to understand their needs. And I see myself a lot of times like thinking inside, okay, maybe what he needs is this. No, no, I am assuming, and that assumption for sure won't be like the real thing that
Yeah.
is happening to that customer. So we always say that asking things to customers, being like this, like hearing, really listening to them, yeah, it's the important thing of sales for me for life. It's
Yeah.
listening, just shutting your mouth and just being big ears.
Yeah, this is super important. But even like in engineering, like you can't solve a problem if you have all the context. And some
Yeah.
people jump into, especially junior people, you ask them to do something and they jump just to start doing
Yes.
without understanding all the context. It's super important.
Yeah, when we trained BDRs teams, one of the first exercises we do or workshops we do is having a conversation with another person about nothing about IT. Just, I don't know, like my dog is feeling, my dog has something he doesn't want to eat. So what we do is, well, okay, you have to listen to them. Okay. And each time they try to generate something to solve the problem without knowing all the information,
Yeah.
although we are doing things that nothing has to do with IT. So we want to solve the problems to others without listening, because I don't know, we are settled for that. So we are not used to only ask questions to understand and to listen
Yeah.
the real problem. So
I
it's a great exercise.
I think these skills about listening, about trying to fetch as much information to solve problems, it's a horizontal skill. You're going to use that for sales, but also for project management or for
Of course.
engineering.
Yeah. Yes, totally.
All right, so we're wrapping up. So, what message do you want to send to your customers and future customers?
Okay. Just to be brave, that if there's this need to grow, you can really do it. Of course, we can help you. The thing is to understand, to really understand if you want to grow, to understand if there is a real need in those markets, if there is a real opportunity, see, to do metrics to justify that decision, and then go for it.
And in case of that, they can contact you.
They can contact us. We will help them to create this strategy to understand the markets, the opportunity, the number of opportunities they have, and to define the go-to market, how to speak to those markets, to those new markets or segments, and how we will execute it. That we can do it with their own teams, we can do it with our team, but we will help them and we will share with them our experience and grow with them in time.
Amazing. And now, last question, and I promise it's the last one. What is your superpower as a founder?
My superpower is to this like passion I have, but with strategy, mixed with strategy, and that I make things happen. That's something that I think
Super
that it's
important.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great, Lucia. Thanks a lot. I really enjoy our chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Alan. It was very, very interesting.
Thank you. Bye.